Amen.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm just going to try to do a short review before we continue.
Ngiyanibulisa nonke, ndizozama ke phambi koba siqale ndenze i-review.
Yeah, a review on what we've done in the morning. So we were talking about the 6th and the 7th kingdom.
Ekuseni ke besikhuluma
Are you there, Nongeba? Is Nongeba still there? Yeah, something. Nongeba, you are muted. We don't hear you. I'm not sure what happened to Nongeba. Nongeba is muted, something, or maybe it's a network. Yeah, so
yeah, I think this number is thingy. I don't know who else is available for interpretation.
Hello?
Can they please assist? Hello? Victor.
Yes, Tina? Yeah, I can replace Nongeba.
Okay.
I can
Thank
assist.
you.
Thank you.
all right, thank you very much. So we were trying to distinguish between the 6th kingdom and the 7th kingdom.
Besizama ukucacisa noma ukwahlukanisa phakathi kombuso wesithupha kanye nombuso wesikhombisa.
Yeah, so this is what we are trying to understand.
Yikho-ke lokhu besizama ukuqonda.
Right, and yeah, we were trying to understand the symbols, to remind ourselves with the symbols as well, the symbols of Revelation 17.
Sizama-ke ukuthi siqonde ngemfanekiso, ikakhulukazi imfanekiso yesambulo 17.
Right, so we saw there that there was this symbol of the head.
Sibonile ukuthi bekuna lo mfanekiso lona wekhanda.
And the symbol of the beast.
Kanye nomfanekiso lona wesilo.
So we're trying to show that the 6th and the 7th kingdom are different.
Besizama ukubonisa ukuthi umbuso wesithupha nowesikhombisa ayifani.
Yeah, we said the head it represents the political institution with power.
Sithe ikhanda limele ezepolitiki kanye namandla.
And then we said the beast is a political institution with power, but with the woman being controlled by the woman's ideology.
Sasithi-ke isilo yiwo futhi ezepolitiki kodwa-ke manje sezizama ukuthi zilawulwe owesifazane.
And we talk about the throne, that there's this throne.
Sakhuluma-ke ngesihlalo ukuthi kunalesi sihlalo lesi.
Whether it is mentioned or not that there's someone sitting on the throne, but we should know by now there is someone who's supposed to be sitting on the throne.
Noma ngabe-ke kushiwo noma ngaba kushiwo ngona ukuthi khona umuntu ohlezi lihlalo kodwa siyakubheka ukuthi ukhona umuntu ohlezi ihlalweni.
Yeah, because the throne is created by the people, and whoever who's going to sit there supposed to serve the will of the people.
Ngoba ke isihlalo senziwa ngabantu okubiza ukuthi umuntu ohlezi laphana kufanele ukuthi abheke imfanelo zabantu.
Yeah, so this is the difference, because here we are saying somewhere here in 1798, there's gonna be this kingdom, the sixth kingdom.
Ngoba ke siyabheka ukuthi esikhathini sabo 1798 kuzoba khona lo mbuso lo okungumbuso wesithupha.
Right, and the difference here is that this kingdom is not going to be controlled by a woman, or a bad woman at least.
Umehluko uthi ke lo mbuso lona awuzukulawulwa owesifazane, ikakhulukazi owesifazane ongalungile.
And yes, we developed a concept of a good woman and a bad woman.
Sibeke sesiba ne concept ethize esibonisa owesifazane olungile nowesifazane ongalungile.
In trying to understand these symbols and what they represent.
Ukuzama ke ukubonisa ukuthi isho ukuthini imifanekiso noma ichaza ini.
And we said all of this, the bad, the good and the bad woman, it's all in connection with this throne.
Sitheke bonke lo wesifazane olungile noma ongalungile banobudlelwano kanye nesihlalo.
And then we try to simplify this by saying a good woman, this is using powers of the throne appropriately.
Sesizama ukubonisa ukuthi owesifazane olungile ilo osebenzisa amandla esihlalo ngendlela ehlelekile nefanelekile.
And the bad woman, this is someone who's gonna use the powers of the throne inappropriately.
Kanti lo wesifazane ongalungile yena ke uzosebenzisa amandla esihlalo awasebenzise ngendlela engafanelekile.
And it is to serve the people.
So okuwukuthi ke ukuthi akwazi ukuseva abantu.
But if the bad woman is controlling now, we see the shift. This is going to be someone who's going to be serving himself.
Kodwa
Serving
siyabona
themselves.
ukuthi siyabona ngathi kuzoba nomehluko ke lapho. Uma lo wesifazane ongalungile ngena uzovele na afune nje ukuthi ayinakekele yena.
Yeah, we use the term Gadal in Daniel 8:11.
Isebenzisa leli gama likaGadali elitholakala kuDaniel 8:11.
Self-exaltation.
Okungukuziphakamisa.
Right. So we want to continue with this. We were trying to trace the woman.
Besizama ukuqhubeka ke sifuna ukuthi sithi ukumbhekisisa kahle simhlole lo wesifazane.
A good woman, to be exact, we were trying to trace this good woman from history until at least the 70s or the 1700s.
Sizama ke ukulanda lo wesifazane simlande emlandweni ke kuze kuzofika iminyaka yabo 1700.
Right. And we talked about this woman fleeing into the wilderness, but is going to be held by the earth.
Sikhulume ke ngalo wesifazane balekele ehlane kodwa manje esesizwa ke umhlaba.
Right. And we marked this history around 1620 to 1798.
masibheka lo mlando siyawumaka ngabe ngeminyaka yabo 1622 neminyaka yabo 1798.
Here we see a development of this country, United States of America.
Lapha ke sibheka ukukhula kwalelizwe leli lase-United States yase-America.
Ellen White told us it is at 1798 where the United States is going to become prominent in the world stage.
U-Ellen White uyasitshela ukuthi kungo-1798 lapho khona i-United States ke yabonakala igqama iphumelela kakhulu emhlabeni.
Or becoming a kingdom of Bible prophecy.
Noma ke isiqala kuba umbuso ke nayo wemibuso ekhona eBhayibhelini.
When we talk about the sixth kingdom.
Uma ngabe sikhuluma ngombuso wesithupha.
Even though we know that America did not begin in 1798, at least we can mark 1789.
Nakuba sazi ke ukuthi America iqala ngo-1798 okungenani lesingabala u-1789.
Because of the Constitution.
Kepha ke ngenxa yomthethosisekelo.
Right, and there is a burning argument in the history of America right from its inception.
Kunokuthathekisayo ke okuyimbono ekhona kuyo iAmerica.
When it comes to building this throne.
Uma ngabe ke isizama ukwakha ke lesi sihlalo lesi.
This throne that we will call the presidency.
Lesi sihlalo sisibiza ukuthi ke uhulumeni.
To say how much power, how are we going to allow to this throne? How powerful is it gonna be?
Ukwembula ukuthi ke mangakanani amandla okufuneka asetshenziswe lesi sihlalo noma ke azoba mangakanani.
Remember, these are people that are fleeing from Europe and they are grappling now with ideas of building this government, and they are trying to see how is this government going to look like.
Sikhumbule ukuthi abantu laba babalekile besuke eEurope bafuna ukuthi bakhandele uhulumeni, bafuna ukubheka ukuthi uzobukeka kanjani lo hulumeni.
Right, and right in the beginning you have people like philosophers like Alexander Hamilton.
Besinochwepheshe ke phambilini abafana no-Alexander Hamilton.
So people who are advocating for centralization, that in order for this throne to work, it needs power, more power to the federal government.
Abantu ke bekhuluma ukuthi uze lamandla kwazi ukusebenza kufanele bekhona ukusebenzisana.
But there's other people, for instance, like Thomas Jefferson, people were advocating for decentralization, that we shouldn't give too much power to this presidency.
Kodwa kunabanye abantu bafana no Thomas Jefferson bona babengafuni ukuthi amandla ahlale kakhulu kuhulumeni.
So this is what is happening as they are trying to build this constitution. The constitution is based upon that balance of power or separation of power, as they call it.
Yikho ke lokho kwenzakala uma bezama ukwakha lo hulumeni kuyabonakala ukuthi lo mthetho sisekelo abawenzayo uba lapha na ekulinganeni.
Yeah, so we remember we are talking about the sixth kingdom and how is it different than the rest of them. Yeah.
Khumbula ukuthi sikhuluma ngombuso wesithupha nanokuthi wehluka kanjani kule minye imibuso.
How to make sure in the future that this bad woman will not take over the throne.
Ukuzama ukuqinisekisa ukuthi lo wesifazane ongalungile akasazuphinda abuyele esihlalweni.
So when we talk about things like the three branches of the government, the legislative, the judicial, the executive,
Uma ke sesikhuluma ngalamagatsha amathathu kahulumeni akasiwabalile,
so it is simply trying to put checks and balances that will make sure the balance of power, that this bad woman will never ever get a chance to control this throne.
ukuzama nje ukulinganisa amandla ukuthi amandla alingene ngokwanele kangangokuthi lo wesifazane ongalungile akasazophinda abuye azongena kulesi sihlalo.
Yeah, because these three branches, they are working hand in hand in the government to put in check this extreme authority to be performed over people.
Ngoba lamagatsha amathathu kahulumeni ayasebenzisana ukuzama ukuvimbela ukuthi ingafiki lento yokuthi abantu belawulwe.
For example, the lawmakers, the legislative government branch can make a law, because these are lawmakers.
Njengokuthi nje kunalaba abenza umthetho, ngoba laba benza umthetho bakhona futhi lapho kukahulumeni ngoba yibo abenza umthetho laba.
And then this law, when it's done, they have to take it up to the president, for the president to sign this law, to sign it into law.
Ngoba sibowenzile lo mthetho kufanele bawuthathe bawuse kuhulumeni, uhulumeni ke bese ke eyawushicilela lo mthetho.
So the president, the executive, can veto this law. It means
So
they can block this whatever decision to come into law.
Siyabona ukuthi abashicileli bangakwazi ukuvimba lo mthetho lo ukuthi ungazi ugcina usufinyelela emthethweni.
Also, on the other hand, when the executive branch makes an order,
Ngakwelinye icala futhi uma ngabe laba abashicilelayo besebenza i-order ethize,
the Congress joined together can veto this law by the president if they get enough vote.
ishamthetho ke sona ke sohlangana ndawonye ke bese ke siyawuphasisa ke lo mthetho lo uma ukuthi bonke bavumelana.
So these are these checks and balances that have been put in place when this throne was created.
Ilo ke lolu hlelo ke elalikade lifakiwe uma ngabe kwakhiwa lesihlalo sikahulumeni.
Right. So this is what we'll call it the Sixth Kingdom. This is why it's so different. It's because of such ideas which are in the Constitution.
Yikho ke lolu hlelo ke sobiza ukuthi lungumbuso wesithupha. Sobona ukuthi wehlukile kuneminye imibuso.
Right. Moving forward to 1989.
Maso qhubekela phambili ke size sifinyelele ku-1989.
So when you get to 1989, as we know it in this movement, this is our dispensation, or this is our line, this is our history now.
Masifinyelela ku-1989 siyabona ukuthi kule movement ke wona mlando wethu ke lo.
Right. There's this power, the United States of America. There's something that is happening here.
Like,
Kunamandla lawa
Hello?
ase-United States yase-America.
I'm sorry, I have a question, right?
Yes.
We know that the Fifth Kingdom was ruling from 538 to 1798. Can you say that from 1798 until recently, because we know that the Seventh Kingdom came in the Sunday Law? Can you say that from 1798? Is that what you say? From 1798 till the Sunday Law, that has been the Sixth Kingdom?
Nginombuzo lapha. Siyazi ukuthi umbuso wesihlanu ufike before 1798. Engabe sithi umbuso wesithupha usuke uqale ngo-1798 kuze kufinyelele lapha?
So if I hear you correctly, are you asking the Sixth Kingdom? Are you asking if the Sixth Kingdom began here in 1798 up until this time? Is that
Engabe
what you're
ubuza
asking?
ukuthi
Yes, up until the Sunday law, because we know that at the Sunday law, that's when we see the from the 6th kingdom. So that's my question. Can we see the beginning of the 6th kingdom in 1798 when those 3 branches of government were introduced until Sunday law? When we see the 7th kingdom getting into power.
umbuzo wami uthi engabe siyawubona nombuso wesithupha ngenkathi kwenziwa lama branches amathathu kuze kube manje noma sibheka nini la sibona la uqala khona ukungena emandleni?
Yes, this is what we are trying to establish, that in 1798, this is the beginning of the Sixth Kingdom as a power of Bible prophecy.
Yebo, yikho lokho sizama ukubonisa ukuthi ngo-1798 uyaqala lo mbuso wesithupha, uyaqala ukungena nawo uzoba ingxenye yemibuso eseBhayibhelini.
We are just trying to show from 1620 roughly to 1798, we are just simply trying to show the development of this power, but it is here in 1798 where we mark it as a Sixth Kingdom.
Sizama ukubonisa ukuthi kusukela ngo-1620 kuza la ngo-1798 kodwa kungo-1798 lapho khona kusuphumela khona obala siwubona njengombuso.
So yeah, so even though it started before here, but it is here in 1798, it's marked as this Sixth Kingdom of Bible prophecy. It goes all the way up to our history here. This is what we're trying to understand now.
Nakuba kade vele ikhona esengaphambilini kodwa kungo-1798 la siqala khona ukuyibona ingena ekubeni eyiprofethweni zeBhayibheli kuze kufike lapho ke la sikhona njengamanje.
Am I answering you, Tina?
Yes, thank you.
Who's controlling this screen? I can't make it bigger now. Someone is fiddling with this. How to make it bigger? Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. What is happening? Where are we? Where are we? I don't know. Yeah, we have this problem. Everyone has got access to this screen. I think someone has touched the screen and all our work is gone. We don't have the work now.
Kunale nkinga ekhona ngathi bonke abantu bayakwazi ukuthi benze into la ku-screen kangokuthi sesilahlekelwe umsebenzi asawuboni.
So please, everyone, if you can bear with us, not to touch. I don't know how it's happening. But if we can refrain from touching our screens on the phone or something like that, because it is distracting.
Siyacela nje ukuthi abantu bangathinti i-screen noma nje ifoni ngoba kuyaphazamisa lokho.
All right, so okay, let's continue. So we are tracing this history, 1798 up until 1989.
Sike siqhubekeni ke sizama ukuthi sithi ukubheka lo mlando lo kusukela ngo-1798 kuze kuzofika ngo-1989.
Right. So what we want to say, we are still tracing this sixth kingdom.
Sizama nje ukubheka kakhulukazi lo mbuso wesithupha.
Remember, we said there are two storylines here. There's the story of this throne becoming more powerful.
Sithe-ke sikhuluma ngezinto ezimbili lapha. Kuna lolu story lesi salo mbuso lo oba namandla kakhulu.
Okay, that's it. That's a different storyline when we talk about fornication.
Sikhuluma ngomunye umucuke lapho masikhuluma ke ngobufebe.
The sins of Babylon.
Sibheka izono zaseBabylon.
Right. So right now what we want to do, we want to trace this throne becoming more powerful. Okay.
Esinokwenza manje sifuna ukubheka lesi sihlalo lesi la siba khona namandla kakhulu.
We will start tracing it in 1989.
Sizozama ukubuka kakhulukazi ngeminyaka yabo-1989.
Right. So in 1989, you have this organization called Federalist Society.
Nalolu uhlelo lolu olukhona olubizwa nge-Federal Society.
Yeah, this is going to be a group of lawyers, judges, lawmakers coming together to form this organization in 1982.
Leli ke iqoqo labameli namajaji lihlangana ndawonye ngeminyaka yabo-1982.
Yeah, so they're gonna come together and discuss matters. The goal here is to shape the judicial system of the United States of America.
Bazohlangana ndawonye ke bese beyaxoxa lapha, kodwa ke inhloso yabo ukuthi babheke isishayamthetho sase-America.
Yeah, they are going to advocate for things like originalism.
Bazobheka ke izinto ezifana nokuthi umtsinso okuyimilela.
How are the judges going to interpret laws? Are we gonna use originalism?
Nokuthi amajaji azochaza kanjani umthetho, ngabe azosebenzisa umtsinso okuyimilela ukuthi ngwalapha.
So originalism, it's this idea that when we interpret laws, we have to take, or when we interpret a constitution, we have to take it at its context.
Lento yokuthi i-originalism isho ukuthi mangabe sithatha umthetho sisekelo suthatha ngokwe-context yawo, ngokwengqithi yawo.
Right. Instead of using this progressive approach where we have to interpret this law according to the period of time we are living in.
Kunokuba sisebenzise le ndlela eqhubekayo yokuhambisana nesikhathi esiphila kuso.
So this is the purpose of this Federalist Society, is to make sure that this throne is guarded from outside forces.
Inhloso yale lokuhlangana lokhu ukwenza ukuqinisekisa ukuthi kuvikelekile umthetho kwabaqhamuka ngaphandle.
But something happens in 1989, particularly 1987 to 1989. This Federalist Society is going to be singing a different note now.
Kodwa khonto eyenzakileke kusukela iminyaka bo-1987 kuya ku-1989 lokhu kuhlangana lokhu kuzogcina sekukhuluma olunye uhla manje kunalo lade belikhuluma ekuqaleni.
So they are arguing for expanding the presidential power now. This is what they are advocating for.
Into abayikhulumisayo ke labayixoxisanayo ukuthi bafuna ukukhulisa ke amandla kahulumeni iyona into abayibhekile leyo.
There is a theory called unitary executive theory.
Kune theory ethize ke ebizwa ukuthi inhlangano unitary executive theory.
So basically now they are changing now. They are saying in order for this president to perform the will of the people or to do what the president is supposed to do, we need to give more power to the president, a little bit of power, because right now the president is muzzled or the hands are tied.
Kubonakala sengathi bathanda ukuba nenguquko manje. Bathi ke uhulumeni kufanele ukuthi athi ukunikeza amandla athe ukuthi xaxa kunakuqala ngoba kuyabonakala ngathi uhulumeni usenkingeni.
Yeah, they are saying there are certain circumstances where we need a government for the president to be effective in what they are doing. They need a little bit more of this power.
Bathi ke kunezimo ezithize ke lapho kusuke kudingeka ukuthi uhulumeni sengathi bengaba namandla amakhulwanyana.
Yeah, so this is their doctrine now, moving 1989 moving forward.
Iyona mfundiso yabo ke lama usuka ngo1989 kuya phambili.
So remember, the Federalist Society, it is this group of lawyers, judges, lawmakers, all of these people. These are the people now that are responsible for influencing whoever who's going to be the president. The Federalist Society has an influence.
Sabona ukuthi le nhlanganisela le Federal Society iyona ngebonakala sengathi nomthelela kakhulu ngoba inhlanganisela abameli kanye namajaji iyona ke ngathi iyona okuyiyona econtrol umthetho wase USA noma enomthelela emthethweni.
Yeah, they are very influential in terms of who is going to become the president.
Ibona ukubonakala sengathi banomthelela omkhulu ukuthi ubani osezolandela abe nguhulumeni.
All right, so remember we are here in 1989. We're gonna move forward to the second waymark, and this is 2001, right?
Uzokhumbula ukuthi sisukela ngo1989 sifuna ukumuva siye kumkhombandlela olandelayo oku 2001.
We are tracing this throne becoming more powerful. This is what we are doing now.
Sizama ukubheka lapho khona isihlalo sesiba namandla kakhulu yiko lokho sikubukayo njengamanje.
So what happened in 2009? We know it's this event of 9/11.
Okwenzakalile lapha ngo2009 siyakhumbula ukuthi ikhona lesigameko lesika 9/11.
Right, this is a crisis of 9/11, those twin towers.
Kunenkinga ekhona ke lapha ka 9/11 yalawana ama twin towers.
All right, so you know that after that crisis, there's going to be some changes in the United States of America.
Siyazi ukuthi emveni kwaleyo nkinga kuzoba khona inguquko ezokwenzeka lapha eUnited States yase-America.
So this is what happens when there was a crisis, because people tend to want to find new ways of mitigating, of trying to make sure that something like this will never happen again.
Yikho-ke lokhu kwenzakalayo uma-ke kwehla inkinga, kwehla inhlekelele, abantu bazama-ke iy'ndlela ey'thize zokuzama ukuthi ingaphinde yenzeke le nhlekelele-ke yenzeka.
So they are going to pass a law that is called a Patriot Act.
Bazozama ukuthi bese bebeka umthetho othize, lowo mthetho obizwa ukuthi i-Patriot Act.
So this is to make sure now that we have to monitor communications, things like communication.
Lokho kunguqinisekisa ukuthi bafuna ukubheka ukuthi ezokuxhumana zizohamba kanjani, ezobudlelwano.
Track financial transactions.
Bephinde futhi babheke kanye nokuthi uzihamba kanjani ezeyimali.
Detaining suspects.
Bephinde futhi bazama ukubheka abantu abathize abangabe abasoleka.
Increase surveillance capabilities.
Ngokunjalo futhi baphinde bakhulise futhi ukuhlala izenhlalakahle.
Right. Reducing some privacy protections. This is all because of this Patriot Act.
Benciphise futhi-ke ezokuthi abantu behlale privately.
Right. So you see what is happening now. So in order to do all of these things that they want to do here, they needed to give more power to this president.
Uyabona lokho kwenzakalayo ukuze bekwazi ukuthi baphumelelise kahle, kufanele ukuthi nje banikeze amandla amaningi bawanikezele kuhulumeni.
In order for the presidency to function well.
Ukuze uhulumeni akwazi ukusebenza kahle.
There's also other changes like there's a Homeland Security Act of 2002.
Kunamanye futhi ama-changes afana nawo lawa abizwa ukuthi i-Homeland eyenzeke ngo-2002.
All right. Homeland Security Act. This is another act which is designed to give more power to the presidency.
Lo mthetho futhi-ke wakhuluma ngawo yiwo lo ozama ukunikeza amandla kakhulu kuhulumeni.
Okay, so it's gonna absorb existing departments like the Border and Immigration Department are gonna be absorbed into something else.
Izothi-ke ifake phakathi-ke yonke imithetho ekhona kanye nemithetho eminingi ekhona le ekhuluma ngabantu abakufika nayo izofaka futhi phakathi lapho igwinywe la.
Yeah, all these things, borders, immigration, border patrol, all of that, they're gonna be absorbed into something called Customs and Border Protection.
Konke lokhu kuzofaka phakathi nazo zonke zemingcele nje nezabantu abangenawo ngaphakathi bonke bazokufaka ndawonye ngaphansi kwalolu hlelo.
So I'm trying to paint a picture so that you can see what is happening. Basically, what is happening here is more centralization of power.
Ngifuna ukubonisa nje ukuthi yini eyenzakalayo la ngoba okwenzakalayo lana ileyo ukuthi sengathi amandla onke asefuna ukuhlala nje ndawonye asiwe nje kuhulumeni.
Because before these were like individual departments, but now we see all of these departments now are gonna be under this new body now because of this law, this Homeland Security Act.
Siyabona ukuthi ngaphambilini lezi zihlalo bekade zinamandla ngokwazo ziyimele kodwa ke manje seyifuna ukufakwa ngaphansi ke kwalolu hlelo lwe Homeland.
Another one we are familiar with is this immigration and customs enforcement.
Okunye esikujwayeleke ilokhu kwemithetho le yabokufika kanye nezamasiko engathi sizogcizelelwa-ke.
Something called ICE.
Ibize ngalokho asekukhulume ngakho-ke.
So these are the results of this crisis in 2001.
Konke lokhu kuwumphumela walesa sigameko esenzake ngo-2001.
Right, and also we see transportation. All of these departments now are going to be controlled by the federal government, and before they used to be independent bodies, right?
Kanye nalaba impela bezokuhamba ze-transport nabo futhi sebezongena ngaphansi kwalolu hlelo lolu kanti ekuqaleni bekade beyimele.
So we see now this presidency now is putting its fingers everywhere.
Siyabona ukuthi lo hulumeni engathi usefaka iminwe yakhe yonke indawo.
All right, so yeah, so let's move on. So we move to the next waymark.
Izobe sesiyadlula sibone umkhomba indlela olandelayo.
Somewhere around 2008 to 2009.
Masingabuka nje ngabe iminyaka yabo 2008 ya 2009.
All right, so we see a similar thing happening. What was the crisis in 2008?
Sibona sengathi kwenzeka into efanayo kambe isiphi isigameko esenzakele ngo-2008.
So in 2008 there was a stock market crash in New York.
Lapha ngo-2008 ke kwaba nenkinga yokuvimba kwezohwebo kwezezimakethe.
Okay. So again, it's a crisis. So what happens when there's a crisis?
Nakho futhi lokho kuyinqushunqushu kwenzakalani ke makunenqushunqushu?
So the government will want to do some changes to mitigate the problem.
Uhulumeni kuzofuna ke ukwenza ke inguquko ezithize ukuzama ukuthi avimbe inkinga.
Okay, so because of the crash, banks were failing, institutions were failing. So the US government had to step in.
Ngenxa lokho kuyabonakala ukuthi engathi namabhenki ayesehluleka manje nezikhungo eziningi zasehluleka kangokuthi uhulumeni kwasekuphoqelela ukuthi akangenelele manje.
Okay, so there are new programs that are designed to save the day or to save the emergency.
Kuzoba ke nezinhlelo ezintsha ke ezohlelwa zokuzama ukuthi zivimbe ezosheshisa uma kunento ephuthumayo.
Like, for example, there's this act which is called Emergency Economic.
Kuna lo mthetho ke ngokwesibonelo obizwa ukuthi nje emergency economy bekelene nezonotho.
Yeah, Emergency Economy Stabilization Act.
Lona ke umthetho ke nawo njengoba sewushilo
of 2008. So what you find now, the government, so what is happening, the government now can just inject hundreds of billions of rands into the banks without having to go to Congress.
Esikubhekayo njengamanje ukuthi uhulumeni usengavele nje afake hundreds billions emabhenki ngaphandle nje.
Yeah, so without having to follow those norms that were created before, you know, to save. Yeah, to safeguard. Okay, carry on.
ngaphandle kokulandela imigomo le ebikade ibekiwe ngaphambilini manje usezovele nje enze nje ngokuthanda kwakhe.
Yeah, so the federal government is expanding.
Uhulumeni ke ukubonakala sengathi uyakhula manje.
All right, so the Federal Reserve now can just, you know, they are lowering interest rates.
Siyabona njengamanje ukuthi sebezama ukuthi lo hulumeni lona ke anciphise intela.
They are creating emergency lending programs.
Bazame futhi ukuthi benze emergency lend programs.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into details of these. There's something called quantitative easing where the government is buying assets.
Futhi kunayo kwangeke sengene kakhulu lapho khona kubonakala uhulumeni naye ethenga ama-assets.
So what is happening here, the government is putting its fingers all over the place. It's trying to control the economy now.
Esikubona kwenzeka sibona uhulumeni engenelela efaka isandla sakhe yonke indawo.
Regulations, increase of regulations.
Khulisa ke nemigomo.
Right? So because of this crisis,
Ngenxa lenhlekelele.
So all of this, if you look at it, you will see that it is against what was created before.
Mawuthi yakubuka konke lokhu engathi kuyaphikisana nalokhu i-USA yayikade iyikho ngaphambilini.
Because it creates this situation of vulnerability now. The government is very vulnerable.
Kubuka sengathi manje sekufaka lesimo losisokuxova kubona ukuthi uhulumeni manje ungathi usexoveke kakhulu.
Because if you give more power to the government, it's only a matter of time. Remember, if a bad person sits on that throne, you can imagine what is going to happen.
Ngenxa yokuthi uma ngabe unikeza nje uhulumeni amandla onke, uma kwenzeka ukuthi khona lo ongalungile ohlala esihlalweni, cabanga nje ukuthi yini ezokwenzakala.
So this is happening so subtle because it was growing gradually in this history of America.
Lokhu kwenzakala ngendlela engalungile ngoba kubonakala ngathi kwakuhamba kancane kancane kulokhu kukhula nje masibheka umlando wase-America.
Yeah, so we are just discussing this throne, and this throne is becoming more powerful now.
Sixoxa ngalesi sihlalo ke, lesi sihlalo ke siyabonakala ukuthi sesinamandla amakhulu ke manje.
All right. So when you get to, let's say, 2026.
Uma singahle sibheke nje kakhulukazi u-2026.
So in 2026, something is going to happen.
Lapha ngo-2026 kunento ezokwenzeka.
Right. So we know Donald Trump is going to be elected.
Siyazi ukuthi uDonald Trump uzokhethwa.
We also know there was someone called Bernie Sanders.
Siyazi futhi kukhona omunye obuza ukuthi uBernie Sanders.
So these are populists. Trump is a populist. Bernie Sanders is a populist.
Laba ke ngabantu nje abadumile. UTrump naye udumile, noBernie Sanders naye futhi udumile.
So populism is this idea that someone is going to come up as a populist and start to point fingers at the government.
lento yokuduma yilento nje ukuthi kuqhamuka umunye umuntu nje bese ayidumise bese ezama ukuthi athathe akhombe ukuthi athathe umuntu wakhe awubhekise kuhulumeni.
Yeah, and they're gonna talk about the government being rigged. A system is rigged because it's servicing the elite, not the people.
Bese bethi-ke hhayi sengathi akusahambi kahle ngohulumeni ngoba akasenzi ngendlela ngoba ngathi akasafuni ukunakekela abantu.
So when you get to this point of 2016, the political spectrum of the United States is ripe for these populists to take power.
Mangabe sibheka umlando ngabo 2016 sobona ukuthi abantu base-USA babefuna ukuthi kube khona uhulumeni ozongena ke akazothatha amandla.
All right, so and this is how Trump will come in, and then he will use this opportunity, and then he will become president as we know it today.
Uzoqhama kanjalo-ke uTrump-ke uzosebenzisa leli thuba leli bese egcina-ke sewuhulumeni njengalokhu sazi namhlanje.
All right, let us quickly go through because we're trying to build to fill in some gaps now. Let's quickly go to Daniel chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 quickly.
Masingathi ngokusheshsha nje sihambe ngoba sizama ukuthi sigcwalise ama-gaps sihambise lapha ku-Daniel chapter 1 no 2.
All right, so this is the story of the last president.
Lapha-ke sibheka-ke ibala elikhuluma ngohulumeni wokugcina.
Okay, we know that we are talking about this Persian Empire here.
Siyazi ukuthi sikhuluma ngombuso-ke wasePersia.
Okay, I'm just going to go through. I'm not gonna read. I'm just going to go through it. We know verse 1, it's Gabriel that is talking, and he's gonna tell us that he's the one that is strengthening this Persian king or this Median king, Darius.
Angizokufundayo kodwa nje ngizokusho nje ukuthi siyazi ukuthi kunoGabriel laphana ozothi uye loqinisa umbuso wase-Median Persian.
And then he's gonna say, and yet there's gonna be 3 kings in Persia. 1, 2, 3.
Uzothi-ke kuzoba khona-ke amakhosi amathathu ePersia, yokuqala, yesibili, yesithathu.
All right, so we know the first king was Darius. I can't how to spell? Is it D or is it I or A? I don't know. So this is the first king, this Median king, Darius.
So bona ukuthi inkosi yokuqala ezoba khona laphana uDarius ekuyinkosi yaseMedia.
And then after him, we know there's gonna be Cyrus.
Yazi ukuthi emva kwakhe kuzobe sekulandela-ke uKhuresi.
And then after him, it's gonna be Cambyses.
Yazi ukuthi emva kaKhuresi kuzobe sekulandela-ke uCambyses.
Darius Hystaspes, this Persian king, as well as
Bese kulandela uDarius Hystaspes yena-ke owasePersia.
Sorry, I made a mistake here. It's gonna be false midis here.
Ngenza iphutha laphana-ke ozolandela-ke akuzuba nguDarius Hystaspes kodwa kuzoba ngu-false midis ozenza uMedis.
Right, and then we're gonna have Darius here.
Bese-ke kulandela-ke uDarius.
1, 2, 3, and then it says the fourth shall be far richer than they all.
bazobathathu-ke laba-ke bese-ke kuthiwa-ke owesine-ke yena-ke uzoceba kakhulu kunabanye.
Okay, so we know this fourth one here. It's this King Ahasuerus of the book of Esther.
Siyazi ukuthi-ke lona-ke owesine-ke lona-ke u-Ahasuerus owencwadi ka-Esther,
who is gonna call all his princes and make a banquet for 180 days.
ozobiza-ke bonke omangabeli bakhe abancane bese-ke bese-ke kukhuluma enze ngaleli dili leli.
There were a lot of things that happened for that period of 6 months, but one of the things we know, they are making war plans there, how to invade Greece on the west.
Siyazi ukuthi kuyingoku okwenzakalayo laphana, kodwa okunye kwakho esokubheka nje bazokukhanda icebo lokuthi bazoyihlasela kanjani-ke iGreece.
And then we know that this Xerxes is the one who raised an army of 5.2 million soldiers.
Siyabona ukuthi Ahasuerus yena-ke uyena-ke ozophakamisa ozokhulisa impi-ke iya ku-5.2 million.
And Daniel 11 verse 2, I think, is going to say he's going to stir all the realms of Grecia. I'm paraphrasing. So he's going to start a war with Greece.
Uma ubheka uDaniel 2 uzokutshela nje ukuthi uzoqala nje impi eyiqala eGreece.
All right. And we know after him, there's going to be about maybe 9 other Persian kings that are going
Siyazi ukuthi emva kwakhe
follow.
Siyazi ukuthi emva kwakhe kuzophinde kuvela amanye amakhosi awu-9 azomlandela.
Before we see this king of Grecia, Alexander, who's going to come. Yeah.
Ngaphambi kokuba sibone inkosi le enkulu ezoqhamuka okungu-Alexander.
So what you see here is that because Xerxes is going to try to make a war with Greece, but he's not going to be successful. His campaign is not going to be successful, even those that succeeded him.
Into esibhekayo la ukuthi uAhasuerus uzofuna ukulwa neGreece, kodwa ngeke aze aphumelele njengalabo abade bemlandela ngaphambilini. Ngeke aze aphumelele.
Yeah, it's going to be a period of time up until Greece will take over the kingdom, and there's going to be this one king, this mighty king, the king of Greece now.
Kuzokuba nje isikhathi esithizeke esinqumiweyo kangangokuthi kogcina-ke sesihambe leso sikhathi ukuze kube khona inkosi eyodwa-ke okuyinkosi yaseGreece.
Yeah, so we're making an application now. We put 1989 here, and we're going to talk about Reagan and Bush.
Sizokwenza i-application la sothatha sibe ku-1989 bese sikhuluma ngo-Reagan kanye benoBush.
Okay, and then we're going to talk about the next one will be Clinton, right?
Bese sikhuluma ngolandelayo-ke okuzakuba nguClinton.
The next one is going to be Bush Jr.
Bese sibeka-ke futhi olandelayo kuzoba uBush-ke omncane.
And then the next one will be Obama.
Bese kulandelayo kube ngu-Obama.
And then it's going to be Donald Trump here.
Bese-ke kulandela-ke uDonald Trump.
So this is the first term of Trump. Trump won.
Ithemu yokuqala-ke lena kaTrump. Trump oqala.
So according to this prophecy now, if we can ask, who's the last king of Persia?
Uma sibheka ngokwalesi prophet masingabuza nje kwakungubani inkosi yokugcina yasePersia?
We're going to say, for the purpose of this study, the last king of Persia is Xerxes.
singathi-ke inkosi yokugcina sePesha kwaku-Ahasuerus.
Though we know there's many other kings that follow after him,
Nakuba sazi ukuthi akhona amanye amakhosi athi amlandela.
because when we discuss these kings, we discuss them in connection with their relevance in Bible prophecy.
Ngoba mangabe sibakhulumisa-ke sibaxoxa-ke ngesikhathi benomthelela kwiyiprofethi zeBhayibheli.
All right, so Xerxes is this king that is far richer than they all, and this is the last king of Persia. And we're going to say, if that's the case, what are we going to say about Donald Trump?
UXerxes-ke kwakuyinkosi yokugcina-ke yasePesha. Uma ngabe kunjalo, singathini-ke ngoDonald Trump?
Before we talk about Donald Trump, let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 12.
Ngaphambi kokuba sikhulume ngoTrump, asihambeni siyobuka uDaniel chapter 7, sibuke verse 12.
So there is a principle that we'd like to glean here. Verse 12, it says, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
Mas ngathi sibheka nje izilo, siyabona ukuthi impilo yabo yaqhutshezwa kodwa amandla abo amiswa, kwamiswa kwesikhathi kanye nenkathi.
So we see that a dominion of a kingdom can be taken away, but they are yet allowed to live longer than is expected.
Into esithi sayibheka la siyabona ukuthi hayi amandla uma umbuso womuntu ungasuswa kodwa avunyelwe ukuthi ebephila nje okwesikhathi esithize eside.
Yeah, hence we are saying Xerxes is the last king. After Xerxes, Medo-Persia ceased to exist as the power of Bible prophecy because there's a new power that is emerging somewhere here.
Nakuba sibheka ukuthi-ke uXerxes sengathi kwakuyinkosi yokugcina. Kuyinkosi yokugcina-ke uma sikhuluma ngokwesiprofethi esiyibhayibheli. Kodwa emva kokuthi yena ebekhona, afikile amanye amakhosi emva kwakhe abakhona.
Okay, if we agree that Xerxes is the last king of Persia, so we want to suggest that Donald Trump has to be the last king of the sixth kingdom.
Masivuma-ke ukuthi uXerxes kwakuyinkosi yokugcina yasePesha, kungamele futhi sibe nako ukuvumelana ukuthi-ke uDonald Trump uyinkosi yokugcina-ke yalo mbuso lo.
So we are talking about this, we are trying to trace the history of this sixth kingdom, when it started and when it's going to end.
Sizama-ke ukubheka umbuso wesithupha ukuthi uqale nini futhi waphela kanjani.
And so here now we are suggesting that Trump 1 was the last president. So when the prophecy or when this movement said Donald Trump is the last president of Bible prophets or of the United States of America, somehow there was some truth in that.
So sizama ukubuka nje lapha umbuso wesithupha. Ke movement yakusho lokhu ukuthi uTrump unguhulumeni wokugcina ombuso wesithupha. Bona sengathi kunokuqinisa obukhona la.
So because after Trump, who's next? Biden.
Ngoba emva kaTrump ubani olandelayo uBiden.
So we want to suggest now that when Biden comes, Biden is not part of the sixth kingdom. Biden is part of the seventh kingdom.
Sizama ukubonisa ukucacisa ukuthi ngenkathi kungena uBiden, uBiden wayengesiyona ingxenye yombuso wesithupha kodwa wayeyingxenye yombuso wesikhombisa.
Yeah, so this study suggests that the sixth kingdom, if you want to ask, the sixth kingdom ended with Donald Trump. the first term of Donald Trump.
Lesi sifundo sibonisa ukuthi umbuso wesithupha uphele ngoDonald Trump ngenkathi engene kokuqala.
Yeah, 2021, we have a new kingdom.
Ngo-2021 kubonisa sengathi sinombuso omusha.
So it put all things into perspective when Elder Test came and said, the sixth kingdom, you remember this, the sixth kingdom is going down and the seventh kingdom is rising.
Lokhu kuyasibonisa kuyasicacisela kakhulu ngenkathi umdala utheze efika wasibonisa ukuthi umbuso wesithupha ushona phansi kodwa umbuso wesikhombisa uyaphakama.
So Biden is the first president of the seventh kingdom.
UBiden yena ubonisa ukuthi uyinkosi yokuqala embusweni wesikhombisa.
And so when it comes to the Sunday law, here, when it comes to the Sunday law, we see Trump too.
Ngakho-ke mase sibheka laphana sibuka umthetho wesonto noma iSunday law, sibona-ke uTrump-ke ngokwesibili manje.
Right. So, yes, and then now we were just trying to wrap this one up before we're out of time.
Lucky?
Hello.
Manje sizama ukuthi
I have a comment on what
Yes.
you said about Biden being the first king, right, of the seventh kingdom. It reminds me of the study that I think between Elder Pamand and Kirchis, I don't remember who did it, where they said that each kingdom starts as a lamb. It starts as, having a good purpose, being a good kingdom, until the woman enters the kingdom and, until the king fornicates with the woman, and then, but the kingdom starts being good and then it moves from being good to being bad. The seventh kingdom, because it started with Biden, you can tell that it was good and then it turned bad. And it turned bad when it got to the other president, Trump. So before it was good, the seventh kingdom, it was good, then it turned bad. I don't know if you remember those studies that were made. I think by Elder Pamand or Kirchis. I don't remember.
Yes, thank you very much for. You want to translate that, Patu?
Yes, okay. Engisikubheka lapha sibheka ukuthi kunesifundo sike senziwa kungaba u-Elder Pamanda noma uKirchis. Sasibonisa ukuthi uma uqala umbuso uqala nje njengewundlu kodwa manje bese ugcina kuyaphenduka ugcina ukukhuluma njengoDraco. Sibheka ukuthi lesi study sisikhumbuza ukuthi ngempela kanjalo uBiden uma ngabe engena ungene njengomuntu ongena kahle kodwa manje sesibona umbuso usuyashintsha. Yilokho sizama ukucacisa siyakhumbula leso sifundo leso.
Yes, exactly. That's built on that premise. So, because this is your Sunday law, now, if we say the seventh kingdom starts here and not before, there's going to be a problem, because when we look at Trump, or when we look at this seventh kingdom here, you will see that it's, by the time it gets here, it's already bad, right?
Yeah, ubona lokuyiqiniso lokho ngoba masithi siyabheka masithi umbuso wesikhombisa uqale ngeSunday law, ungaba khona okuphambanayo ngoba kufanele ukuthi mayifika iSunday law bosuvele ukhona umbuso wesikhombisa. So kusho ukuthi uma ukanjalo kusibonisa ukuthi kuthe mayifika iSunday law bese uvele sewukhona in place.
Yeah, because now we're going to get to this concept of fornication, right?
ngoba sesongena kulobu budlelwane lobu obungalungile bobufebe.
So we are saying this kingdom, this seventh kingdom, when it gets to this point, this is where it is sinning.
Sibheka ukuthi uma umbuso wesikhombisa usufika la kuleli phuzu leli, yikho-ke la usuqala ukona khona-ke.
And so what is the sin?
Manje-ke siyini-ke isono?
So the sin, it is this throne flirting with this bad woman.
Isono ilapho khona-ke lesi sihlalo lesi sizama ukuba nobudlelwano kanye nalo wesifazane ongalungile.
You see, so sinning on its own, when we say someone is sinning, or when we mark someone sinning here, it implies that before they were not sinning, right?
Uma sithi-ke umuntu uyisoni noma umuntu la useyona, kusho ukuthi-ke kweke kuba khona isikhathi lapho khona bekade ngoni.
So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense when we start this the seventh kingdom here. It's a must. We have to start this kingdom somewhere here. And we have to show where this kingdom was good.
Akunawo kumqondo uma ngabe sizothi lo mbuso wesikhombisa uqale laphana kule iphuzu. Kodwa-ke kufanele sibonise ukuthi kukhona la uke waba muhle khona.
So that we can show when it started being bad.
Uze sibonise ukuthi uqale nini kahle kahle ukungalungi.
Yeah, so it is following that same concept that we started with in the morning in Daniel chapter 4.
Ukulandela nje i-concept eyodwa nale siqale ngayo ku Daniel chapter 4.
You remember that we said Nebuchadnezzar was given this responsibility of taking care of the people.
Singakhumbula ukuthi uNebukadnezar bekade nikeziwe umsebenzi wokuthi anakekele abantu.
Hence the dream of Daniel chapter 4.
Bese-ke sithi sibheke ukuthi hawu nalokho sekuqhamuka iphupho-ke lika Daniel chapter 4.
But we know he's going to exalt himself. Whatever that looks like, he's not going to fulfill his mission.
Siyabona kodwa ukuthi uzovele bese yayiphakamisa. Noma ngabe kuthiwa kubuka kanjani lokho kodwa akasezokwazi ukuthi agcwalise umsebenzi wakhe omfaneleyo.
And he's going to be driven to stay in the wilderness for a reason.
Uzothatha kayothunyelwa endleke ngenxa yesizathu esithize.
And when you follow those who will succeed after him, they will do the same thing. They won't do the purpose that God has raised them to do.
Umuntu uyalandela naye futhi ovukayo emva kwakhe akazukuphinde futhi naye enze umsebenzi uNkulunkulu akamphakamisele wona ukuthi awenze.
Until they will be destroyed.
Kuze kufike isikhathi ke lapho bazosuke besusweke beqedwe.
And then God will raise a new power, the Medes and the Persians.
uNkulunkulu usezovusa amandla amasha-ke okungamaMede namaPeshiya.
Someone who is fit to do the work.
Akuyena umuntu ofanelekile ukuthi engenza lo msebenzi.
So yes, to support this, all these kingdoms, they start being good and then they change.
Yebo, ukusho nje ukulekelela lokho kusho ukuthi vele imibuso yonke iqala nje imihle bese-ke kuhambeni isikhathi iyaguquka ishintsha.
God says it is them that raise kingdoms, it is them that destroys kingdoms.
uNkulunkulu uthi yibo-ke abavusa imibuso, yibo futhi abayiwisayo.
Right. So when a kingdom is raised, the kingdom is raised for a specific purpose, to serve the people.
Uma umbuso uvuswa-ke uvusela-ke injongo ethize ukuthi nje unakekela abantu.
So it must be good. By right, it has to be
Kahle
good.
kahle kufanele ukuthi ube umbuso omuhle.
But for whatever reason, this bad woman will find a way of hijacking the throne.
Kodwa kuzothi nje ngezizathu ezithize kusuke lo wesifazane ongalungile avele afuna ukuzo-hijack isihlalo.
All right, so this is what we are trying to do when we are following these prophecies. So this is what we see here at the Sunday law.
Into ezama ukuyenza leyo uma silandele iprofeto lokho esikubonayo-ke laphana-ke emthethweni wesonto noma iSunday law.
Please, again, those that are writing on the board, please. Okay,
Sicela laba
so
ababhala ebhodini bayeke.
all right, so this is what we are saying. We are saying Joe Biden is the first king or the first president of this seven kingdom in 2021.
Esikushoyo ilokho ukuthi uJoe Biden uyena nkosi yokuqala-ke yombuso wesikhombisa ngo-2021.
Yeah, so it makes sense now when we say at the Sunday law, we need to see a change, things changing. There's going to be this new power now, or the woman, this bad woman.
Siyakwenza umqondo-ke manje-ke mase sibheke ukuthi ngo-2024 sekunalo sifazane ongalungile-ke manje kwafanele kube khona ukuguquko okwenzakalayo.
Yeah, so this is what we would call it, the sins of Babylon, because now this bad woman is taking over this throne and is controlling this throne, and he's not going to serve the people, he's going to serve himself.
Siyabona ukuthi yizo-ke lezi zono zaseBhabhiloni ngoba manje nangu lo wesifazane ongalungile uyangena lapha esihlalweni kunokuba asiza abantu, uyinakekela yena, uyayiphakamisa, uyisiza yena.
So this is what we are watching now happening, and now we can say the beast, this beast kingdom is back now.
Ya yikho lokho sikubona kwenzakalayo-ke njengamanje kangokuthi sesingakusho nje ukuthi lesi silo lesi sesivukile.
Yeah, so I think we've covered everything. We were trying to show this throne gaining more power, yes.
Ngicabanga ukuthi-ke sithe sakubonisa konke manje into ebesifuna ukuyibonisa nje ukuthi sibonise lesi sihlalo lesi mase siqala ukuba namandla amaningi.
Yes, and when that happens, the throne is vulnerable because now anyone who sits on the throne can come in and abuse that power, as we are watching happening before our eyes now.
Siyabona ukuthi isihlalo sesonakele-ke manje uba nombani ofikayo nje azongena kuso uzothi uma engena nje afike nje abese ehlukumeza amandla aso njengalokhu sibona kwenzeka njengamanje.
Yeah, so as much as whoever that was giving much more power to this throne, doesn't matter what they were doing, maybe they were helping, but things are out of hand now because a bad woman is sitting on that throne.
Manje-ke noma ubani-ke ongathi uzama ukuzongena lesi sihlalo noma ngabe kuthiwa uzama ukulekelela kangakanani kodwa ngeke kusenzeka ngoba usethe wafika lo wesifazane ongalungile wahlala lesi sihlalo.
Yeah, let's hear some comments or maybe questions.
Uma sesiza-ke ama-comment noma ngabe imibuzo.
Thank you, Lucky. So this transition of Trump 1, Biden, Trump 2 is, I think, what I was looking for in my question during your first study. I wanted to just have a better view of how that played out in ancient Israel. Do you have a clue which kings were involved in this, if in fact it was kings involved?
Where in the history of Israel?
Ancient Israel, yes.
Ancient Israel.
At the time when ancient Israel switched from being a theocracy to God placing it under the protection of Rome.
Yeah, I don't think I can be in a position to go to that. I think it's something that we need to look into, because there's a lot of history there, and how it's playing out. Hello?
Can I assist?
Yes, please.
When we looked at is it Daniel 2, right? Babylon. When there was a part where what's his name? Nebuchadnezzar. We see Nebuchadnezzar in two parts. There was a part where Nebuchadnezzar was a good king. He did everything for the people. He was a very good king. There was a transition from him being a good king to him being a bad king. There was that transition. And I think that's the only example I can think of at the moment where we can say that this certain kingdom started being good, right? When Nebuchadnezzar followed instructions by God and did everything according to the law and did it, the kingdom was for the people, right? By the people. Then we got to a transition where we are now seeing the kingdom now, Nebuchadnezzar ruling it as he wants, doing all those things. We can take the very same thing with the sixth kingdom. The seventh kingdom. The seventh kingdom was good. It was good under Biden. It moved from that to it being bad, and by that it had a change of a person or change of a king. Nebuchadnezzar didn't necessarily change himself, but the character changed. So there was a switch from that. So I would say, in respect of the woman and the base and everything, I would suggest that the king was in a good relationship with the good woman, right, at the beginning, and then they fornicated, committed adultery, and then they got to the period whereby, I don't know what happened with the good woman. That's my question also. I have no idea what happened. With the good woman. But I would say that the king and the woman committed fornication or adultery, and now the king was dead. We can bring the same thing with Biden and Trump. Biden was good. He was in a relationship with a good woman, and then he fornicated. The United States fornicated, and then got into a bad relationship with the woman. Yeah, and I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, so thank you for that. So, yeah, I get what you are saying there. You are talking about all these kingdoms being good in the beginning, and then somewhere along the line they turn bad. And now Elder Doreen wants to take us back to the history of the kings of Israel, if I'm reading you correctly. So you want to understand those dynamics there, or what, or is there anything that we can say, since we know in 4 BC that it's going to come to a point where this political power, it's going to be stripped away from them and given to the Romans. So you are trying to see where can we locate, I don't know, where can we locate this?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, but yeah, with me, I would say with the kings of Israel, I don't know where to mark it, but you will know that for the kings of Israel, it's going to come to a point where God is going to raise Nebuchadnezzar, and this last king, Zedekiah, is going to be taken to Babylon, and that's going to be the end of it, because when they come out, they are not going to be permitted to be a monarch again, right? Because they're going to be under the mercy of these Persian kings now, and then up until the Greeks, the Romans. So I don't know the dynamics there, but where it gets clearer is when you get, according to the prophecy now of Revelation 12, as we are trying to understand it, that this is where now there's a split. And there's this split now from a theocracy. Now we see the church is going to be separated from these political affairs, and these political affairs is given to the Romans because they are under the hands of the Romans now. And one way or another, they are going to be controlled by the Romans. And this is at least where I can see it. But in terms of tracing the kings, where did it start? How? In the history of Israel, I don't know. I can't seem to know, because all these kings are bad, and God has told them from the beginning what they will do to Samuel. And I don't know where to start, because you can start, I don't know where, because by the time you get to where the kingdom is splitting from northern tribe to the southern tribe, already it is bad. It's bad already. And I don't know, you're going to say the best king, the good king was David. Who was the good king? I don't know. So, but you have the dynamics where there's going to be a good king in Israel. There's going to be a bad king in Israel. And those dynamics are shifting, and it's getting clumsy in terms of trying to trace where this thing started. I don't know. I don't have an ability to see that, or even to pinpoint, where it started or how to look at it in that fashion. This is why I just look at it in the framework of Revelation 12. So Revelation 12 will just talk about this woman, and we're saying this is a good woman. I'm just going to talk about the good woman. And so in the Old Testament, it is this woman, or this ideology, or these kings, the kings of Israel. God allows them to look after the people. They will look after the people until God takes this away from them. And that is the story of a good woman up until 4 BC, roughly, where you will see this new church, the Church of Christ, the Church of the New Covenant. That's a woman. But I think the story, the study now of Curtis is trying to show that let us not forget about the woman being used, or this symbol of a woman, a good woman, is still working when we talk about politics. I think we are trying to bring politics together now at the end of the world. This is the work of Elder Tess in trying to bring politics, or the political events, together with what we understand what is the Church of God. And we want to put these together now. We're not going to be like the Millerites. The Millerites were like Ellen White, and they were focusing on the church only. But we are going to try to understand the political side of things and try to blend these together at the end of the world, in trying to understand the work of this good woman. It's not just the Church of Christ. It's also with what is happening in connection with the throne. There's a lot that I've said. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I guess it's muddy there. But I appreciate your response.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the comments. Anyone who wants to come in?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I just want to thank you, Lucky. You are a good saint. I was busy asking Nicholas, where does the 60th kingdom begin and end? Where is the beginning of the 7th kingdom? My head was cracking trying to understand. And then now it's very clear. Very, very clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wonderful things God is doing in these last days. I mean, these studies that are unfolding right now, amazing. God is just giving us a gaze, is how I like to put it. It's just giving us a gaze on what is happening in the most holy place. And we have seen the glory of the Lord. So with these messages, truly God is at work. And indeed, I'm so happy for what is happening for us as a movement and how God is leading us, how God is teaching us. It is amazing. It is amazing. We've been honored to see these things. So may God help us to use this information wisely in terms of fixing our characters. So yeah, it's very nice what we see. Okay, I think we can close right here. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating. And thank you for the opportunity that you have given me to share today. And let's close with a word of prayer. Dear God, we thank you again for using your servants to compile such an information as this for us, so we can take it. So it's going to be easy for us to chew and to digest this message in this fashion. So continue, do what you are doing for us. Continue to bless your servants. Continue to bless us all. Continue to bless this movement. And thank you for everything that you are doing for us in these last days. Thank you in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen. Over to you, Tina.